He is much beloved in these parts. Of course, one of many ducks to bring the University of Oregon an NCAA title and a whole lot more. Speaking of the decathlon, time to join in our friend, Paul Swangard.
Yeah, Lee, we've reached the end of the first day of competition as the men have gone through the first 4 events, the 100, the long jump, the shot put, and the high jump. They get back on the track for the 400 meters to end day 1. There you look at the standings. The guy from Georgia, Kyle Garland, with the current lead over Double Z, Zach Zymet, and Garrett Scantling. As we get set, Sonia Richards-Ross, for your signature discipline, the 400 meters. We look at Solomon Simmons out of Murrieta, California,
who was 8th in Doha, so he's been to our World Championships before, currently sitting in 9th place. And I always wonder about this, Paul. The 400 is hard enough to run by itself, and here these men come and run it as their final event on the first day. Blows my mind.
And then Stephen Bastine out of Saline, Michigan, Big Ten champion while at the University of Michigan. A little bit of heritage here as his father Gary finished 3rd in the decathlon back at the 1983 U.S. Championships. We have 3 sections, and again, in this multi-event, it's really not about winning the race. You're running against the points table, so your time equates to a score, and then that's added to your total.
Absolutely. It's like they're almost running against themselves, wanting to better their personal best so they can get more points and have an opportunity to make the team here. Bastine been in 4th both times, 2017 and 2019 at the U.S. Championship, so he'll be hoping for his first Olympic berth.
Simmons has had an interesting day. He had 2 fouls in the long jump. You only get 3 attempts in the field events in a decathlon, so he had to get a legal mark to get scoring in that second event, and is again in 9th place. The first section of the men's decathlon, 400 meters. And as they get underway here, out in lane 8 is Joe Delgado, who is an Oregon native, grew up on the east side of the state in Ontario, ran collegiately at Oregon before transferring to Louisville, so he'll get a nice hand from the crowd. And then 2 lanes to the inside, that's Bastine. Could you even imagine doing 4 other events and then trying to run a 400?
Absolutely not. And these men actually run as fast as most of the elite women do. They run around 48.5 to 49 seconds at 400 meters. Really impressive what they're able to do.
So Simmons trying to find a gear on the inside as Bastine now grinding it out, being enveloped by this amphitheater of a crowd on the main straightaway. And again, it's him against the clock. Delgado moving up on the outside of Earhart, and will get into that second position. 47.80 for Bastine as he ends a good first day, and Delgado there finishing in 2nd.
Fantastic running for him. 47.8. Really great. He came off the turn looking like he was tying up a little bit, but able to find something left in the final 100 meters of this race. These men have so much grit. They work so hard for this opportunity, and you saw him wanting to give everything that he had to finish strong in the final event. Ashton and Trey always talk about wanting to carry that momentum into the second day, so you want to finish on a high note, and 47.80 is certainly a high note.
Almost a second faster than he's run when he did his lifetime best decathlon. And that's been really the spirit of this place, too, with the crowd here really pushing these athletes to do something they've never done before. There's a look at the results in Heat 1. We have 2 more heats coming up with some of the top competitors in the men's decathlon. Wait a minute, you get to cut in line? That's not fair.
I love it. You just never know who you might see at Ashton Eaton's. You might see Ashton himself. I love it.
Got his image on the tower here at Hayward Field. Picked up some licorice, balanced. I don't know if that's a pyramid diet for a decathlon former gold medalist, but he is enjoying watching really a house he helped build, this new Hayward Field. Maybe the next generation of future decathlon stars, maybe led by this man, Kyle Garland.
Absolutely a rising star for Team USA. Just turned 21 on May 28th. Oh, to be 21 again. He won the SC title last month and decided to skip the NCAA to be better prepared for this.
Yes, he said in his interview after the first 4 events with Lewis, he hasn't really competed in the decathlon for like 3 years. In fact, that decathlon at the SEC was the first time he'd ever used the senior implement. So really kind of getting into knowing what it's going to take to compete at this elite level. Note that Zach Zymek, who had some good early events, is also in this race. He's running in lane 7, the top returning active competitor from the U.S. team in Rio. He finished 7th in that 2016 Olympic decathlon. What I always appreciate by the decathletes, too, is just how they become students of the event. When you were running collegiately, did you ever have a decathlon guy come up to you or a heptathlete say, how do you run that race?
Absolutely. They were always so eager to learn everything that they could, especially about the 400, because this is a difficult event to run. As we're watching here, we're seeing Garland kind of fall off the pace here. While it looks to me as Zach Zymek is running really well, as well as lane 6, Will Daniels.
And Ballingy there out of University of Arkansas in the center of picture now, right alongside Zach Zymek. Jack Flood, who's had a good first day, now closing out on the outside in lane 8. Again, it's them against the clock, trying to add to their point total, and Ballingy will have the best time here in Section 2, was 3rd at the NCAA Championship, so he has been competing now in back-to-back weekends in decathlons. The NCAA Championships held here a week ago, but had a nice last bit of juice in the engine here to conclude day 1.
Yeah, Ballingy really set this up well, running a really strong turn and allowing him to come off in front and really power down this home stretch. This is how you want to run a 400. It hurts here, but when you set it up well, you're able to finish like he did. And Garland, who has run 50.10, who should have been able to keep pace, has put so much out in the first events and still looks strong coming home. And like you said, in this event, it's not so much about your place, but about the time.
Zymek with a much faster personal best in this event. He was favoring one of his legs in the high jump, and maybe just happy with the day 1 being now officially over, as these guys can go and rest up for day number 2, as we'll have Heat 3 coming up momentarily. That gives us an opportunity to talk about the men's high jump qualifying that is now complete. Talked about Will Clay watching his wife Queen Clay in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Christian Taylor, unfortunately not here. He has a ruptured Achilles, and you see all those golds, and right behind him in most of those events is Will Clay, and so he's now trying to step up and walk through that open door of opportunity. Made quick work of the qualifying in this triple jump competition. Took only 1 jump on the day, and it was the best jump of the competition, 55.3.5. With Taylor out of the competition, a lot of guys looking at this as an opportunity to make an Olympic team. Donald Scott's got several national titles to his credit. The young father out of Michigan, performing in front of his daughter today, gets himself into the finals. Look at some of the other key qualifiers for the men's triple jump. That final happening up on Monday. Later on tonight, our only field event final, the American record holder in the women's discus competition, Valerie Allman, will be coming up to her throwing momentarily. So we get back to the track for this 3rd and final heat in the men's decathlon, and there's a look at Garrett Scantling. In 4th place finish at the Olympic trials, Sonia back in Rio, and then decided to retire.
Unbelievable story. He decided to go to football and tried out for the Atlanta Falcons and made the practice squad. And when that worked out for just a little bit, he decided to then go and be a financial advisor. And as the Tokyo Olympics got closer and closer, he got that urge to compete again. And 2 years ago, refocused and is here with a real shot of making this Olympic team.
I think it's a nice introduction there as well. As we look at the lanes now, we're getting a little bit of attrition in this decathlon. Notably, Devin Williams, the 2019 U.S. champion, has scratched after struggling through some of the earlier events. So we're down just to 4 men in this 3rd heat. Harrison Williams there in lane 6, the former Stanford All-American, has the Olympic standard in this event. So, it is, again, also survival of the fittest here, literally in the decathlon, as the numbers begin to dwindle.
That's right. He has the fastest personal best in the field, has been to a World Championships before, so knows what it's like to go through these rounds and should be able to put on a really good show here.
Two-time U.S. junior champion as well is Harrison Williams, and he is in lane 6 for this third and final heat.
Powerful start there for Harrison Williams. I love the way he strided up the blocks. That's how you want to get going. He's off to a fantastic start, really maintaining it down the backstretch. Looking like a quarter miler here, Paul. Not so much a decathlete. Impressive.
And Scanlon doing his best to try to just keep an eye on Williams, maybe helping him a little bit because that swift first 200 meters, and Scantling now beginning to make up the stagger just a little bit on Scott Phillip, who was 5th at the U.S. Championships back in 2019, and coming off the final term, Scantling and Williams now with that advantage.
Really hard to run blind in the 400 because you have to set the pace, but look down in lane 3, that's Sam Black making a great run for it. And a personal best for him as well. He's run 48.2, 48.06. And there's something about the Olympic trials that just brings out the best in athletes.
Well, and you also talk about, too, we see it all the time. You know, we have a lot of talented athletes in the Power 5 conferences, and you see on the inside Sam Black from Division II Saginaw Valley coming up there as well. And his final stretch showed why he was going to come away with the fastest time in this race.
And look at him completely in control when he comes off the turn. His arms still pumping. Phenomenal effort for a young man who is on his final event of the day. For him to show up on this stage bodes well for him going into tomorrow.
As we see Harrison Williams cross the line, what's great about this particular decathlon on this particular Olympic trials is the competitiveness of the scoring that we'll see at the conclusion of this first day of competition, making very much the anticipation of day 2. But right now, let's go down trackside with Lewis Johnson with Garrett Scanlon.
Still has enough strength and power to stand here after that 400, Garrett. So take us through your day 1, which seemed to be a good 100 and also very well in the shot.
Yeah, so I started off the day exactly the way I wanted with that 10:53 in the 100. And that's what you want in a deck. You want to start strong, make a statement, and that's what I did. Came back with a long jump, another PB shot. Kind of fell off a little from my PB, but it was good. And I got that high jump going, so that was good for me. And this is all about finishing and pure will and desire, and that's what I did. So I'm very happy about my performance.
Nobody will really understand, except you guys, what it's like to compete in this 2-day event, especially with a trials berth on the line.
Right.
How do you deal with the next 24 hours to come back out and do 5 more events?
2 ice baths at least. Okay. Just try to stay focused. Try to relax, obviously, and just know that you've prepared for this. I put in work, and this is what I want. This is my dream, so I gotta chase it.
All right, off to the ice baths you go.
All right,
we'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, sir. Go dog.
All right, Sonia, you and Paul off to the ice baths. Get ready for tomorrow.
No, thank you. I'll stay up here and begin to anticipate what's next on the track. The women's 1,500 meters. Scantling, the leader in the decathlon after day 1.